And how about Eleanor too? You think Eleanor was just forced to do Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Oh, Eleanor. Oh, this is from the.
See, what I fully expect, just playing the odds, because I know the odds change, things change, just because the odds are against you doesn't mean you don't
Okay.
go out there and make it happen.
That's why I like
Okay.
the Jackson match.
So here's-
I was hoping you get to the point.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and use the
Okay.
notepad unless,
So
I'll keep kind of, I'm gonna.
Play with it.
now,
Let's see.
the Depression, and you watch the Roosevelt series, and people you talk to that went through it. Was really,
You know what, I need to
really hard.
put a couple signs up out there.
Oh, we have signs.
I gotcha.
Do you got some color ones posted up?
Yeah, they're all up.
See, notice.
Okay, so, anyway, it's a nice day in Missoula, we're gonna do a little politics and then let you off for the rest of the day and have a good time. But, what we really wanna get serious today is that the Bernie Sanders, campaign started just about 10 days ago in Montana. And, Andy was up last week from Bozeman, and he kind of indicated that he wanted to have all of the chapters go through Bozeman and him, and we disagree. We think we're independent. Missoula has always been independent. There's 55 counties that hate Missoula County. And during the Constitutional Convention, when it was ratified, how many counties do you think voted against the Montana Constitution in effect today? Out of the 56 counties, 44 said no, hell no, we don't want it. Missoula wiped out 23 little counties population-wise, and we sucked it in there by 50.1 to 49.9. And so we did it. Now, principles are in there. Okay, so Montana is changing. One day, Jeanette Rankin showed up in Helena at the time. I couldn't believe it. I sat next to her and introduced her to the Constitution.
Content, please come to the account set.
Okay,
Content, the account set.
what we want to do is get an idea. Now, last week at the Union Club we were there, we had big blue sheets with all of the different areas that we want to be active on as an independent Missoula Bernie Sanders organization, okay? And the earlier you get in and the more you want to work, the better it'll be for all of us. So we've got about 30 different things on that. Do you even with us tonight?
I wasn't able to get it printed up, I still have it in my notebook here.
Oh, okay, well, do we have those blue sheets that we filled out?
Oh, no, those were the other,
Oh, did they take it? That's all right. No, we don't need them now.
that was the other group.
Oh, that was, yeah, they
Yeah.
took them. All right. Well,
We've asked for them to share some of
this is actually what we want to know. We want to know what you're interested in, what area, okay? And, you know, the primary is June 3rd, 2016. So, you know, we got a year and a half, okay? Before that vote's gonna come to Montana between Hillary and Bernie Sanders. So, we wanna use this time for Missoula time and get the people that are really interested, like you in the core group, and then see what issues you're interested in and what you can go to in organizations, and then use this for later meetings and see how many people will show up. We're not gonna, you know, try and compete with the.
The only way this can work is if it's a completely collaborative, open process.
Right, and that's what we have here, question.
Well, I mean, isn't sooner or later there gonna be an official Bernie Sanders office in the
Yes.
state somewhere?
Well, no, not necessarily. It depends on how much support we can send his way. Because he's refused corporate money already. They've tried to buy him already. And he flat out
Okay,
so
refused.
he's looking
That's
at
gotta be a
states that
central,
are
that's gotta be a
coordinated.
central person. Yeah,
We
I don't know
have
how
been
they
asking
sit
that.
down.
That's why we're recording this. And so that Bernie and his people can watch this and see for themselves what the people are asking for, the kinds of questions that are consistently coming up, not just throughout our state, but throughout the nation. There's been a lot of confusion, and the only purpose for me being here today is to try to make sure everyone has accurate information so they can go out into the community and organize themselves. There is not going to be anyone self-appointed,
No, no,
authorized official anything for, at this juncture.
I'm just saying, come down from the official Bernie
Yes.
Sanders campaign. I
And
mean,
we're working on it.
That's different from somebody here in the state saying I'm in charge, okay? You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's what killed us last time at the Union Club.
Yeah, well, I've watched the left in this town eat each other alive for a long time, so.
And that's the old way of doing things, and that hasn't worked, so.
You're better off rumbling with the grizzly than you are eating
That's
with the
right.
bobcat, so
That's
leave the
right.
bobcat alone. Okay.
Are you guys- So,
Okay.
you
There.
wanna introduce yourself?
Nancy,
Oh, well, I wasn't planning anything, but my thought is, I was listening to one of their strategists the other day, just, he was being interviewed, and what my takeaway was, at this point, they're focused on Iowa and New Hampshire, because they've gotta get that kind of momentum, and at this point, to commit any kind of funds and even energy, because that means you're taking energy away from something else. It's just not likely to happen here, because we're the last day of the primary, so. Right now, they're just trying to deal with them, and then will be South Carolina and Nevada. They're kind of taking it in order, because they have very few assets. And they also said they thought they need $50 million to take New Hampshire and, Iowa, and they don't have, they have less than 10 million probably at this point, so.
I think we might get him to visit one time, he'd be a draw.
I'm sure.
You know, I'm sure people-
One of his friends was at the Helena meeting yesterday, a friend of his from Vermont, who's known him for 42 years. And, he was there, and, they're very aware of what's
Yeah, I'll give you rail against Citizens United.
So how did you find out about like the Helena meeting and stuff like that? How can we get that information?
You guys will,
I didn't see it on the website.
you can get that through, Helena, the Helena people, that's their community.
Could you
Or Bozeman, that's
could you
all.
post their number on the website?
Absolutely, we're happy.
That would be nice, because I'd like to know,
Yeah.
if it's gonna be open to everybody, I would have liked to attend that meeting in Helena, for instance. But I didn't know there was a meeting, so how would I know?
I had at that point, because of some stuff that's been happening in the dark, what you guys have been made privy to is not the entire story. I can prove that to you if we need to. That's not why we're here today, though. We're here to educate today and get accurate information that we've spent this entire last week working on the phone with Bernie's people to get this information out to you. The statement that he issued, the written statement that he shared and sent out yesterday morning, it was because they're aware of what's been going on here in Montana. And we're gonna read this, but of course everyone in the nation is going through some growing pains and some hiccups trying to get organized. We're on new ground. This is new. We're starting over. We're starting over fresh because the old way of things obviously isn't working. So yes, I don't know, did anyone get Bernie's message? No? Okay. He has really bad handwriting, so bear with me.
I'll vote for it. I do too.
Okay, this is an email that he sent out yesterday morning in response to our Montana efforts here, but also it's affecting different people popping up throughout the nation. It's people posturing for control or self-appointing themselves, saying that they're official. Because you say it does not mean so. So let's go ahead and read this. This is from Bernie. I wanted to write you a letter about the status of our campaign and the incredible momentum we have, but also what this campaign is really about. Read my letter below and please make a contribution to our campaign. Thank you. Dear friends, momentum is building. The massive the massive
You sent out a handwritten email?
yes.
How does that work? I've never
Not
seen
well, I'm having
I've never seen a handwritten
Maybe
email.
it's a PDF.
Were you able to get online?
I have not been able to get online. It just decided that it's going to automatically install.
Do you want to use mine? Because maybe you can help me translate this really quick for because you can read here. Let's get the gist of it anyway.
It's like,
we can, here, let me pull it up here. So, yeah, and he's got, he should have been a doctor, he's got horrible, right? Oh, my computer.
I used to read Dr. Sandra.
Yeah, we have to,
Devices are for that.
yeah, this, massive. Well, that comes into it.
Turnouts.
Yes, thank you, okay. The massive turnouts and energy at our campaign events makes me believe the American people are ready to mount the greatest political revolution this country needs.
Ever seen? I'm guessing.
But the crowds also remind me that this campaign is not about Bernie Sanders. It's not about Hillary Clinton. And it's not about Jeb Bush. It's about the needs of the American people.
I wrote that on Facebook 3 years ago. Right? I mean, it's out there.
That no one who works full-time should live in poverty. That the United States must lead the world in fighting climate change. That we must overturn Citizens United and take back the political process from the handful of billionaires buying candidates and elections. Will we succeed? Can we transform America? Yes. If we can develop a strong grassroots movement, and we're gonna define that as soon as we're finished with this. Now is not the time to think small. Now is the time to think about how we make fundamental change to our economic and political section. Now is the time to bring our people together, to stand up and fight back. We've seen that on our campaign, we don't have a super PAC or billionaires making huge contributions, but we do have well over 100,000 people who've given $5, $10 or more, many of whom can't hardly afford it, myself included. But our early success can only be the beginning, and I need to ask again if I can count on your contribution today. Nobody can beat the billionaires by him or herself. I'm grateful that we were in this fight together, Bernie. And this is a response, so you guys know about where myself and some of the organizers that I'm working with throughout Montana and the nation, where we're coming from with this. So we sent him a quick email back and thanking him and giving him, a heads up and hearing him. So here's what we sent back to him. I'd like to thank you on behalf of myself and Heidi Wendell, two of Montana's many statewide and national organizers, helping as many different groups to unite and organize together under this one common goal as we possibly can, for issuing this statement in response to some of the actions some groups have taken using your name and this movement to justify their poor behavior and lack of integrity. We get it, and we are 110% on board this train for the duration, Senator Sanders. This movement is indeed we the people's movement, and it's up to us to take our country back from the corrupt politicians and greedy corporations, billionaires now, before it truly is too late for us, and more importantly, for our children. We know and appreciate that you are leading this charge and have given yourself over to us to a degree. We know and appreciate that you're leading this charge, you've given yourself over. We have your back, Bernie. Just keep on keeping on, and we will do whatever we can to help make sure that you aren't saddled with messes like the TAA, TPP fast track, or a Senate and Congress that's full of self-indulgent politicians who only care about what is in it for themselves. We plan to start shaking things up at the local levels too, by identifying, nominating, and voting for more people like us and you. We also intend to announce our intent to initiate the first ever nationwide mass recall impeachment event should our nation's current representatives and leaders, I use these terms loosely in this instance, continue to vote against our best interests and ignoring we the people who have entrusted them with our futures and our children's futures. We are done being manipulated and betrayed, and we will hold those in positions of power accountable for their actions from this day forward. We know that it is partly our fault that things have been allowed to get this bad. I, for one, have no intention of looking my little girl in the eyes one day and telling her that I was too busy, tired, weak, sick, whatever, to at least try to repair some of the damage that we've allowed to get so horribly out of control. Thank you, Senator Sanders, for believing in us as much as we believe in you. Go Team Bernie. Brightest blessings to you, your team, and your family for agreeing to take on this momentous task. We are finally on the right side of making history with you. Please don't hesitate to call on us for anything you may need. In the meantime, we will continue as much support your way as we possibly can. Respectfully yours, as you are ours, Kayleen Coons. So, and that is exactly where we're coming from on this. I'd like to, if I may, and I don't know, did I introduce myself at all? I'm sorry. My name is Kayleen Coons. My pen name and my writer name, alter ego, I guess, is JC Donlin online, and it's the name that I write by. But my name is Kayleen Coons. I'm originally from Oregon. I transplanted to Montana almost 11 years ago, and I don't know why I was called to Montana my entire life, and I think all of this has led to me being here today. Now, what I want to go over with you guys is, has anyone actually checked out the actual definition of what a grassroots political movement is?
I've worked in it.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and read some of the definitions that are out there for people to check out. Grassroots movement, often referenced in a context of political movement, is driven by a community's politics. The term implies that the creation of the movement and the group supporting it are natural and spontaneous, highlighting the differences between this and a movement that is orchestrated by traditional power structures. Grassroots movements are often at the local level, as many volunteers in the community give their time to support the local party, which can lead to helping the national party. For instance, a grassroots movement can lead to significant voter registration for a political party, which in turn helps the state and national parties. And that's a Wikipedia. And then from the Free Dictionary, very simple, people at a local or low level rather than at the center or upper levels of an organization or movement, often used with the lowest or most basic level of an organization or movement. It's a campaign that started at the grassroots. Also, it is a basic and fundamental, the grassroots factor in deciding to buy a house, being originating or operating in or at the grassroots. Local or person to person, a typical grassroots effort might include door-to-door education and survey campaign. It includes political, educational, artistic, and especially collegiate movements involving the common people as constituting a fundamental politico-economic group. Then I looked up democratic socialism. There's a lot of labels being used out there, a lot of terms. One thing that we're striving for is to do away with the party lines. We're starting over, no more elephants and jackasses, we're done. So it's time to ask these people, they're applicants applying for a job. And if they lie on their application, what happens when you lie on your application or you do something that's contrary to your employer's best interests? You get fired. These people work for us. They need to be reminded they work for us. And we're gonna start shaking things up at the local level. And we're gonna start helping get some more progressive people, like-minded people, like Bernie, like those of us that have had enough and know that it's time. This is a matter of life or death for our planet, for our children, We cannot continue the way we're going. We're gonna die. We're gonna become extinct. And everything on this planet because of us allowing this stuff to continue to happen. We have to start accepting personal responsibility for things. If you know something's going on around you and you know to your core that it's wrong, don't just be afraid, I don't want to get involved with someone else's. That's what's wrong with society right now, is not enough people are willing to stand up and do and say what needs to be said. The truth is sometimes, most of the time, very ugly, especially in political revolutions and politics, and can be hostile. So democratic socialism. What do you guys know? And can someone give me your impression or what you know to be your, what you've heard that democratic socialism is?
All I know is that when I shared one of your posts the other day, somebody jumped on my Facebook, and I don't even think I know this person, and said, this is socialism. And then like this whole big argument kind of ensued that I wasn't even involved with all these other people, and then it sounds like it's pretty negative, but to me it seems like we're
doing
all in this together, so,
Must be doing
Negative
something right.
perception of socialism.
Exactly,
Comes
and
from
that's what
the
was-
things that they've been feeding us for 40 plus years.
I ended up taking it down because it was totally negative sounding.
Democratic socialism is a democratic-based system where there will still be a free market and things of that nature, but there also needs to be social safety net, there needs to be social programs. There are some things that the government does need to be in charge of in order to ensure that basic human rights are fulfilled in a way that corporations don't, because corporations are profit-based as opposed to the good of the people-based. And it's a system that is in place in most of the rest of the Western world.
You should be up here with us, Daniel.
Totally am.
Please do.
I'm absolutely gonna be here at all of these from now on, and I'm gonna bring my computer.
Good, because I've got some medical stuff coming up, the surgery coming up, and I'm not gonna be able to be at all of these things.
Yeah.
We've reserved this space almost every Sunday throughout the summer, because they'll let us book rooms here 3 months in advance. And we're every Sunday from 1 to 5, from open to close, here is available for people to come and meet and work on projects together. If there needs to be a meeting for information, then we'll schedule an informational session and make sure people know. But more than anything, people need a place where they know that they can go, and people like them are gonna be there and help them in their efforts around the community and within their own communities.
When this issue comes up and people throw this switch label at you or the democratic socialist label at you, you can say, look at Norway or look at Sweden and look at Finland and there's statistics on Bernie's side about these countries and their level of poverty is down, their level of crime is down. They have free colleges, they have free medical care. These places are idyllic in my mind, and I didn't love Montana so much, I might move to Norway, but I love Montana, so what are you gonna do?
And see,
These places are great, but, and I ran across these countries a long time ago, and I said, well, why isn't everybody doing this?
I came across an article called, "If you want to live the American dream, move to Denmark."
and see, it's up to us. They can throw these labels out there, these stereotypes, all they want, but it's up to us what democratic socialism is gonna mean for us in our country.
How we're gonna.
And it's
Yes.
gonna get hostile, it's gonna get really hostile.
It's not, well, you know what, nothing in life worth doing is easy.
You know the best way?
It's not gonna be pretty.
I have found those people who are like, you're a socialist. And I say, okay, well, what exactly do you believe a socialist is? And when they say China, well,
That's communism.
that's communism, and it's not even Marxism, it's Chinese communism,
Right.
it's not, it's unique to China, just like Russian communism was unique to Russia, it's based on how, the people of the country base their system. So if they can't explain to you what they think socialism is, then that's your in. And then once I suggest you guys all do your research and learn what it is, everybody's educated. And then you can explain to them in a way they can probably understand better.
Educate
yourself so that you can educate others, because the best way to go about that is be like, okay, so what do you think it is we're talking about? And then when they say whatever it is they think, be like, no, that's not what we're talking about at all, this is what we think.
Well,
That's how I
that's the
handle the
bugaboo with
situations
socialism,
where I
is they
make
compare it to
friends with
communism. That's the deal, that's where the stigma comes in, with socialism. They'll still see the red scare.
The important thing to realize too is that they start talking about socialism and said, oh, look at what capitalism brought us. Where we're at.
The status quo is obviously not working, it's time to change, shake things up a little bit.
It's pure capitalism. Capitalism, aside from any
Consumerism.
regulatory bodies, because capitalism was good for us. But
Remember when
back
America
we had
was the envy
regulations
of the
in
world?
place, when we had regulations in place, when we had unions, before they got rid of essentially all the New Deal policies of.
When we took pride in what we produced, and we didn't mind spending a little extra for it. Now we've got consumerism, we think we need all these cheap little things made from China or wherever. And I know those people, the hit people need help too, but we have our own housekeeping we need to concentrate on right now.
Well, but there's the thing, I'm a very poor person. I basically don't have any choice in what I eat because I eat at the food bank. I don't have any choice in what I can buy because, basically I try to consume as little as possible. Even so, I'm contributing to what's going on in the world. And I don't really have much I can do about it, except for things like vote for Bernie Sanders. And so I could say, yeah, I'd love to pay a little extra money for that organic food. That's my big thing is organic farmers.
All food needs to be organic, period.
Well, all food needs to be affordable, period.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
Because that's the deal,
Well, you know-
everybody needs to get fed, whether it's organic or not, it needs to be fed. That's.
When I say they, I hope you know I mean they, the very people that why we're here today, the people that we are actively fighting against. They know that if you control the food supply, if you control the water supply, you control the people. And we cannot let that continue to happen.
You know, one thing I say to people is, I say, okay, what other countries in the world you would like to live in? And it's always Western Europe and Japan, right? And they say, okay, so these are the most regulated, the countries with the most social programs and the most effective progressive taxation of all the countries.
And the happiest citizens that you'll ever meet.
I said, do you wanna go somewhere libertarian, go to Africa?
Yeah.
It's a brilliant.
See, that's what we're doing. We're shaking stuff up. We're starting over. I'm proposing, not just myself, there's several of us that are proposing that we're making history because we're gonna rewrite our Constitution so that it's valid for today's world, not the 200 years ago world that they came from. I think if those guys knew what it was gonna be like today, that the Constitution would have even been written the way it was, probably not. But
There's no way to put it foresee and fully automatic.
yes, we're gonna keep what is working for us, and we're gonna get rid of what's not working for us, and we're gonna replace it with things that do work for us. We're gonna stop putting Band-Aids on gushing wounds.
Not always.
But you can see a stupid letter to the editor.
Mark Freiberger, please come to the
Yes.
attendance desk.
That's
Yeah,
not,
I'm sorry.
Freiberger,
Wait just a minute. Thank you.
When you see a stupid letter in the Missoula or the Independent somehow, you can always write a good response.
Oh, sure, I'm all for everything, don't get me wrong, I've been doing this for a long time, and every tool you can do a box is available in my mind, even guerrilla actions of some kind.
Okay, a little harder at the brew fest, right, where you got 40 types of beer for $12, all you can drink, right? Pretty hard to talk politics right there, right?
Food fest isn't really a place for politics. I think there's politics, if you want to bring it into a community, is
Take it to Hempstead.
the farmer's market. is
Well,
a
see,
very good platform. And
that's a misconception.
that's a
Actually, I have to tell you what, I've been going to downtown tonight, I'm looking for Mount Prairie, and we've been working on saving the Smith River, and people are far more receptive after a few drinks. I've been having a far
Can I send you a stack of these
crowd.
with you? Well, we have several more meetings.
I absolutely want to stack those, and I was also thinking, I understand Bernie doesn't have the money to.
His
bring
money
his
is our
campaign
money.
Here right now, well,
Yeah.
the campaign doesn't have the money to bring his campaign right now, but possibly, information packet he could send to us that we could print it out ourselves and do it ourselves with it's,
That's what
you
we're
know, if
working
he
on.
wants to put paper.
We're helping the national headquarters put together, Heidi Wendell is a heavy hitter. People don't know her as well here in Montana because she works at the national and worldwide levels. She lives here in Montana and she decided, you know what, maybe I should try to help what's going on here in Montana too. And she has been instrumental in all the planning since the beginning. The group out of Helena and Bozeman, they wouldn't have been organized and wouldn't have the sites that they have that they're using if Heidi hadn't created that stuff for them. When she started to, and I don't want to go into it, but when she started to voice some concerns about some of the misinformation that was being put out there by these people, some manipulate, just some underhanded dark room, you know, the stuff we're trying to get away from. And they outed her, and they've been bullying her and myself and some other organizers from around the state. We've got proof that we're, you know, if it comes to that, we'll share it, but that's not why we're here today. Today, we just want to educate our neighbors on what we know from Bernie's actual people, not from someone, Amanda Curtis, who doesn't even work on the Bernie campaign. We're not dropping names if we don't have to, that's just not necessary. All we want to do is make sure everyone is getting the most accurate, up-to-date information that's out there so they can make informed decisions about whatever it is that they want to do out there within their communities. But the one thing they wanted to make sure specifically, if people want to donate at a local level, donate at a local level. If you're, just save your receipts, because who knows, we might be able to get you reimbursed someday. But, you know, it's
Everybody have his email and all that.
we'll make sure.
I do.
Well, make sure, yeah, don't do.
I'm
I don't think you signed up for it. Hey, you want to put your name. Oh, we can find that.
Here's my problem. I'm all about the ground game. I'm willing to do my homework and get the issues down. And I want to talk to people. And I will do this anywhere. I don't care if it's a big fest, I don't care where it is. And I might hear if my suppliers around with me.
That's kind of what it's gonna take.
At 10 cents a piece, that could get expensive.
And that's what we're
Okay,
working with.
I can't print this, I can't print the, I can do 100 at a time, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, that's $10.
Hey, your button will open, close.
Right. But I also like something I can, you know,
You don't have to give me.
and you can do half sheets,
You
you
can
don't have to do
You
full
can do
sheets.
quarters,
Or
I
you
do
can
it for
quarter
my
sheets,
business all
yeah.
the time, I do the
Yeah,
little
I mean,
handle
just a little
size.
something to hand them.
And that's something that we are, part of what we wanted to talk about today, and hopefully you guys will help me get the information out. It is okay to donate at a local level. Just make sure that if you're having stuff printed up, say this was printed by the people of, or by Kayleen Coons, by Bob Campbell. Bob is the one who printed all this stuff up for us. I created it, gave him the hard copy, and he went out and had all these copies made. And he's on a fixed income. I'm on a fixed income. I'm still donating $5 a month for the duration of Bernie's campaign because I feel that strongly about what we're trying to do and what he's helping us do. He's giving us a voice at a national level, and he needs us to start at the local level and meet him in the middle. That's the only thing this is gonna work. And the only way this is also gonna work is if people operate in the light, in the open, and don't send bullying messages and emails to people and make threats at them when all they're trying to do is educate their neighbors. Because there will not be, at least not at this early juncture, there's not gonna be any designated official anythings. This is us. This Bernie Sanders campaign, this people's movement, this start over for our country and taking our country back, it's our responsibility to do that. It's not gonna happen unless we accept that responsibility and we do that.
You know, one thing in Missoula is that county fair. That county fair has a lot of politics in it. And we don't have a Bernie Sanders table, but we certainly have a right to have
And we're gonna ask
Table.
for all,
a democratic table, all of buttons and handouts and things like that.
you know,
And I think we'll see. It's gonna be people coming by and they have to give him a positive.
between now and then, we're gonna get so much word out to the community about him, so when
The
there
Pride
does
Festival is coming up this weekend.
Which one?
Gay Pride.
We need people to man the gay pride,
And that's right downtown.
so we'll need people on board that, you know, helping with that organization.
I have a vendor's table already, we're gonna be set up at the block party.
Would you be willing to hand out
I
some?
could set some down, I'm
Bernie
gonna be super
Sanders
busy
swag.
doing stuff, but I could set it down, and if you wanna come by and hand stuff out,
Yeah.
I'd be thrilled.
So it's free to walk in the parade, right? We have
Yeah.
to pay for paper for the float, but it's free to walk in the parade. Is there any way we can get flyers, some sort of, maybe just a kitchen front, small brief, you know, of
I
his-
didn't have time to print them out today with contact information and
But
stuff.
with just like a basis of his policies plus our contact information possibly, and then we could just walk in the parade and hand them out for free.
Yes, there is.
I have 3 redheaded daughters, I
Make
would
it.
totally go down there on Saturday and freaking,
Sold.
Let's do it.
Go for it, Danny.
yeah.
You make it, we'll make sure it gets out there for you, absolutely. And this is what we need more of. We need more people saying, I can do this. Everybody's efforts are valued and equally welcome.
So
No one group's efforts or contributions are more important than any other person or group's contributions. We do have, one of the folks that's working with the Helena people that I believe is not aware of what's been going on in the dark. And she's out of town today, and I was hoping she could make it today, but, yeah, and that's just Heidi's information, so I didn't even have time to get her.
Okay, you make some of those upstairs.
Missoula for Bernie Sanders at gmail.com.
Alright, sure, everything, yeah.
Missoula, yeah. Okay, and that's gonna become a somewhat publicly accessible form. Anything that we get in the dark that people try to take to the dark, we're gonna turn around and put it back in the light, and so other people know what's going on. We've been blackballed, and when I tried to put the information about today's event, the other group did everything in their power to work against what we're trying to do here, because I did not agree with how they were trying to organize. And neither did Heidi Wendell, neither did Deborah in Connecticut, neither did all these people throughout the nation who we're working with right now, trying to help educate people, empower them, enable them in any way they can, and we can. This is my responsibility, this is yours, this is our individual responsibility. If we wanna take our country back, we have to get involved.
I have a question, so
Okay, that's good.
you were talking a few minutes ago about what can be put on the bottom. Does something need to be put there?
You know what, it just needs to be available, like, that's why I'm asking people to hold on to receipts and stuff. If anyone ever does question it, like, we're gonna put a page together, the people can post receipts on if they want, or they can go to and say, hey, I donated $50, what'd you do with it? Go to this site, here's the receipt, this is what we did with your money. We're, that kind of thing, so we're gonna keep it open, but as long as we're not an actual campaign, organization, we're not affiliated with any you know what I mean? We're free to do this however we see fit.
So if I say, here's something that I saw on Bernie Sanders' website, and I kinda like that, or, you
Yeah.
know,
Run with it.
and I say, I wanna fish that out, do I have the right, is that legal?
Absolutely. Everything that people are putting out there that we're posting on our Bernie pages, that we try to get as much stuff directly from Bernie's people himself that we put out there.
Unless you're trying to sell it, it doesn't.
But they have maybe consolidated all of the great things he said in Congress over the years
Yeah.
and some of the.
He's been running on the same issues for 40 years.
Seriously, like almost verbatim, 1989, 2015.
Yeah, that's not
The
that much.
same thing.
Yeah, I think I we need more clarity on this, because I can see down the road, some Republicans, or even.
Oh, yeah, and we're not gonna do anything.
Oh, look what they did in Montana, man, they were not doing their campaign contributions right. I think we need to be very, very clear about this, so we don't
Okay.
hurt Bernie down.
I'm gonna answer you clearly on that right now. We are protected and covered as separate entities under the First Amendment. We can donate money however we see fit. We're not claiming to be any kind of a political association. We're just concerned citizens getting together, trying to fix things. And-
As long as we're individuals, that's fine, but once we start
Then once that happens,
We're gonna coalesce at some point.
Then we
think this is
will-
gonna be an amorphous group, but it's not.
Right.
Okay?
and that's what, see, they're trying
No
to,
money's
everything,
actually going to Bernie Sanders,
Well,
so it
no,
doesn't matter,
but once we start
because
working
it's
as a
not
group,
campaign.
and then it might go into somebody's personal account over here. I'm sorry, the money gets tricky, and the money is gonna be where they can attack us. I'm sorry, but that's a fact.
no, you're right, it is a fact, and that's why, that's part of what we're discussing here today.
Okay,
Is-
so, can I answer, so, would not want later for someone to say, you were a PAC, was a what? I didn't want to
No.
Well, no, the money actually has to go to him.
Yeah, and we can, and we'll make sure.
None of the money that we raise go to him, and just go to us being able to continue
And then
doing
it's just
what we're
to
doing.
pay for flyers,
Right.
and for booths, and for tables.
Nothing is
Yeah,
going
fair.
to Bernie.
House.
And
And we're gonna vote a committee together. I'm not appointing myself in charge of anything. I'm saying that anyone who's interested in wanting to, be on certain committees or a team leader for different projects, put your name in for it. If it gets to where we need, there's any kind of issue and we need to do some internal housekeeping, which we will. As this grows, we're going to have growing pains. We will vote as a group, as a community, at least 50% of the people that come to our meetings and that are members of our groups, you have to have at least 50% of the people that would actually vote, or it doesn't count, and that's what we wanna, everything has to be open democratically,
Did I what?
or it's not gonna work,
I did
nothing,
not,
nothing,
but I didn't write
everything will be for
anything down.
naught.
But
If we don't
if
keep
there is
everything
essentially
honest,
fights going on down there.
transparent, full disclosure at all times.